Hello everybody, it's Arson here, and in this video I'm basically going to be making an updated version of the BPS Minecraft Animation tutorials, Black Plasma Studios. But remember, well not remember, I'm basically going to do a type of tutorial where it's really light so that for like the downloading, the links, the organization, and all of that stuff, you'll have to actually go into their tutorial and watch it. This is for two reasons, because first, I want to keep my videos short and sweet. Second, because I really don't want to like steal views from them, if you like know what I mean. Because if you're watching mine other than theirs just because it's a new version, I want you to still watch them because they're useful in many ways, even if it's not the same version. Anyway, so you select these two and then you just delete it. So yeah, let's just exit this for now and let's go into my ways. And in my ways, you just open world and you can either do find your world, which let me just explain in their video, which will be link in description. In their video you can find links to all of these downloads, how to download them. Also, I'm expecting you to have some knowledge in Blender. I'm not expecting you to be a noob at Blender. That's what, well, Black Plasma Studio shows complete beginners. I'm showing you like mid, intermediate, kind of things and stuff. So first you'll want to open up MindWays, which they show how to download. They show everything like that. File, open world. You can either do find your world, which if your friends send you a world, you can try and find you find the folder, go and you click the level dot that. But that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna click file, open world, and I'm just gonna click, oh crap, no, wrong world. File, open world, potato land. There we go. So I have a couple builds here, but they're trash, so I'm just gonna go here and get this village. So you right click and drag to get something. Also remember, CS is the depth, right? So if it was here, there's no purple, then you're selecting the sky, so you're basically getting nothing into your scene. As you go down, you can see it goes down, and you basically need to watch out for when it hits the water level. It will basically always be at 62, the water level. So then you just want to go until you're, at a comfortable range where you won't see through the world if you look at the water. Also, whenever you're getting a world, bringing a world in, make sure you make it so that if your camera looks right, it won't be obvious that it's just a floating block, but try to make it look like there's actually a world. Alright, mist and like stuff, editing and all that, which I will help you put in later, will help in this process. But other than that, you kind of need to grab a bigger chunk and try to use the environment. So say I would grab this much because like they can't see past the trees. Okay, and say it's water, right? So they think that's like an ocean. There's a couple mountains here, I think, and yeah. But for now it's a tutorial, so I'm not really worrying about that. But you probably should anyway. So also it's best performance. The smaller the block you get, the better performance in FPS. You're gonna optimize it later, but you can only optimize it so much. Those are the exact words he used in that tutorial, but yeah. Anyway, so after you've got your depth set, you'll want to click File and Export for rendering. Then you'll want to go into your Minecraft Animation folder, which you made watching that tutorial. You'll want to name this map OBJ. You'll want to save it off. Check off create block faces and borders and click OK. Great, once it loads, you've got everything you need basically, except the settings. For the settings, there's actually less than you would than he shows in this tutorial. Also, it's not in file user preferences, it's just edit preferences. So there's actually less than what he showed. You just want to go to save and load and make sure this is on. You'll want to go into system, and Blender 2.8 now supports. So the reason why you want auto run Python scripts is so that some of the rigs might have scripts. I don't know. That's what he said it was anyway. You also want to go into system and set your graphics card up. Blender now supports any type of graphics card, so in 2.8. So if you have a graphics card, it'll be here. But in the case that you're on like a, say, laptop with no graphics card somehow, I don't know, then you click none to render with CPU only. And CUDA if you have one, Optics if you have an RTX, and OpenCL if you have an AMD graphics card. So just scroll through these, and if your graphics card isn't there, then just click none. So right now I'm rendering with this. So also, depending on if you're on CPU or GPU, these settings will be a little different. Anyway, after that you'll want to go into key map and change fly. So you'll want to search fly in the search bar and change this from shift this thing to shift F. So there you go. Also, you'll want to go into add-ons and install the MC Prep add-on, which I'm not going to show you how. Actually, I might. So you go here and you click on the zip file you got, and then after that, you'll want to search it up here and check MC Prep. There you go. That's pretty much the settings. If you're worried about, oh my god, what about bitmaps? Well, in 2.8 there's a new type of node. Like in the node there's a new option where it's like closest linear and stuff, and closest basically takes the blurred out. Anyway, also he shows like call menu in there, which he said like if you click W it causes you to click something, I'm assuming while something's selected. It doesn't do that anymore. It's just different types of selecting. And yeah, so also you might be saying, what about the numpad 0 that he changed to F? Well, if I go into key binding and I change this to numpad and I go here, let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is, numpad 0. It's changed from view selected to frame selected. I didn't actually use this like ever, but you can change it to something else. I don't believe this has any use, or this button, so you can of course change it. I have a mouse button that has no use to that, but you know, I just didn't change it, and it hasn't really bothered me, and I haven't really needed to use it. Restore that. Let's say I go into frame selected. I'm gonna change this to my mouse real quick. Never mind. Just don't change that, because right now you can't change it to F like he said in the tutorial, because F is already occupied. Like some of the key things are different. W now, instead of bringing some menu up, does the selection. So yeah, some of the keyframe or like key bindings are different. But anyway, you're done with those settings. Save and exit. Now I want to go here into output properties, and you want to change this to 1080 and this to 720. And this is already at 100. Then you want to change frame start to 0, frame rate to 30, and yep, you're done with here. Close these just to keep it neat. Then go here and change this to cycles if you're rendering with a GPU. I said there you have to do this differently. With a GPU, click GPU compute. With a CPU, click CPU. It's pretty obvious. Then the sampling changes to 20 and this to 4, the bottom one to 4. You're done with sampling. Open up Lite Pass. Change this to 2. Turn off reflective and refractive caustics. You're done with that. Open up performance. And here, if you're rendering with a GPU, change this to 256 under tiles. And change the Hilbert spiral to center. You don't have to do this, but you know, it's just the way it renders. So yeah. And if you're on CPU, you change this to 16. But I'm on a GPU, so I'm rendering, you know. Also, if you're rendering with a CPU and like it's super slow, it's not the end of the world. There's free render farms like Sheepit, which is like a community render farm, and which you might be able to render with. I think you might need a GPU, but that's because I haven't rendered with it anyway. Alright, anyways, so now that you're done with this, you would, in the tutorial, you'd save this as your default scene, but since, once again, I'm not doing it in depth, I'm just doing a tutorial on all the things that are different, I'm going through this fast, and tutorial scene, there we go, I'm saving this as the tutorial scene, which, before doing this, it's going to be a little different, like the saving and stuff. I need to bring the world in, which he saves as the default scene, and then exits out, and then goes into the default scene. basically making a new blend file. But anyway, I'm not doing that. You'll need to go watch it. So you go into import. So if you want to bring your world in, you go into file, import, and then go to wavefront obj. Then navigate to your file in which you saved your world map obj. Click on the map obj .obj, not .mtl. Then bring it in. It'll do this for a bit. Depending on how big it is, it'll take longer. It might even hold this X thing. And see, I brought a really small thing, like a couple of chunks, I think. Yeah. So I brought in a really small world, but I will still show you how to optimize it, even if this is small and it only has 200,000 with everything in. But then you want to click F3, separate, because his in the tutorials, every material is already a different material, like the stairs and this. He doesn't separate it, but in 2.8 you have to separate it. It's not a big deal. You just click F3 and separate. Now I want to go into material mode, but see, it brought the materials in, but there's one issue. Whoops. Oh, I forgot one small setting. I think fly. Yeah, change this from this thing to shift F. This will just help you navigate better. It's basically it's really self-explanatory. You just click shift F and you go into fly mode. So you go slowly at first, but then you can click shift to go a little faster, and space to just like teleport or like speed to places. Anyway, you can see it worked. You can see the textures, but it's kind of trash. There's no transparency, basically nothing. It's really garbage, this whole thing. See, the windows are all black and stuff. So I want to go here, and say you have something selected, you just have to double click A, once A to unselect, and another A to do this. Then you'll want to click N to open up the sidebar, click MC Prep, and make sure you're in Mineways when you click Prep Materials. There we go. Boom. You've got the transparency all set up, and there you go. That's pretty much it for part 1. If you guys want to see a part 2, well, subscribe, like. I will be posting a part 2 either way, but please subscribe. It really helps, and if this actually helped you, subscribe. Just don't forget that, because I saw people like going, yeah, great video, but they didn't subscribe, and I was really, really sad. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, don't get mad because I made you go watch that other one or a part of the other one. It's just, I want to be nice and not steal from them. If you found that frustrating, I could maybe make, after finishing all of these parts, I could make a different type of tutorial. If more than like 5 of you say that it's frustrating that you had to go watch the other one just to have the 2.8 updated, I could make one for the full version, so you won't have to go watch it. It'll just take, I don't know, a couple more days maybe. It'll take like a couple days to get those out. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next one.